Well, hello there, everyone. Happy new and beautiful day. Good afternoon. Hope that all is well. Oh, gosh, okay. Okay, let's see what's going on here. Hope that everyone is having a marvelous, marvelous day. My day has been very, very interesting indeed, but I still stand and I'm still grateful. I'm very, 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 very grateful, and I hope that you guys are grateful as well. Sending the live out to a few people just to get started. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. So this live is going to be based on my experience today, because I like to take things that has happened and transcend them, because I do believe that there is a message if you choose to attune and transmute and generate a message that comes from it. You can be of service to what the experience is offering, instead of allowing the experience to be used and consumed. You can transmute it and allow it to be beneficial and fertilize, and people can grow from the experience and know from the experience. But let me go ahead and do this really quick and see who's available, and do that really quick. So I just wanted to go in here and just put that out there. So welcome everybody. Hi, Mr. Overhead. Hi, my beautiful friend, and hello everyone. I hope that everyone is having a beautiful, beautiful day. And gratitude for you guys' presence. I am so divinely grateful to have each and every one of you guys is here. And as I said earlier, I'm coming live with an experience that I had today that I wanted to bring forth to be able to transmute the experience, to use as an example. And it's something that actually quite often happens in the collective community, or what I call center field. But before I get into that, I want to say welcome. Hola, Cosmos. Cosmos has entered the building. Gratitude, my brother. My two ace boom cools is in the building. I'm so divinely grateful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hola, hola, indeed. Hi, Mary. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency as well, beloved. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here, my Mr. Overend. More gratitude indeed as well for being here. I'm so divinely grateful in my cosmos. You are here today. I'm so grateful in the building. Indeed. And I'm so grateful as always. And welcome. So as you guys can see the title, but before, I'm going to go ahead and read the title really quickly. When does your opinion matters? And AKA matters mean materializes. And I'm going to give you guys my perspective, my perception, how I understand my now moment in the essence of presence, in the essence of wholeness. Just how I understand in a regulated sense of understanding, in a regulated nervous system, because that's what these lives and engagements and interactions are about, in terms of a regulated nervous system. However, it did hurt my nerves. But I brought my essence of coherence back into regulation, of course. Because we are in the human experience, and this is what grounding affords us the ability to do, to be a burning bush without being consumed. And so that's my insignia in anything and everything and all things that I do choose to experience within the human experience. Just be that burning bush without being consumed. Yes, yes, yes. So, but let me go ahead and put my disclaimers out there. And this live is also going to be displayed on YouTube. So also welcome to my YouTube family. However, I have been having some technical difficulties with my internet and everything. So I have not been able, I'm surprised that it's actually working now. And I tried to do some uploads with connecting with my phone, and it's not working. So I'm just, it's been going on and off and everything like that. So I'm just waiting for my internet to actually become stable so that I can do proper uploads and edits and everything to put all of the videos on YouTube that I'm doing here on Instagram. So I thank you guys in advance for the patience. Because hey, it just is what it is. But I'm calm, cool, and collected. Okay, it is what it is, and I'm moving in grace with the process. So let me go ahead and just put my disclaimers out there. First of all, welcome to my YouTube channel too, as well, Pi Sovereign Signature, in conjunction with my Instagram family, my day ones, day two, days threes. Welcome all and everybody in conjunction with each other. I'm so divinely grateful to have you guys. And what I am going to do here is just put in a little disclaimers. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do or how to be. I'm only here to place an essence of expression of how I understand my now moment in wholeness, right? In the essence of coherence, to express the unified essence of consciousness in divine wholeness, oneness, and also in coherence. I'm not here to tell anybody what to do, because you are very well capable of making your own divine choices in how you see fit to navigate your present reality, your current reality. I'm only here to lead by example, right? To be that lighthouse in the essence of how you choose. And if this resonates with you, you will move into the essence of guidance with this particular essence of resonance. And if it doesn't resonate with you, you'll just pass on by. You just pass on by, right? All right. And any content creator, celebrity, or anybody for that matter that I speak upon on this platform, in this live or any other live that I move in essence with all information that has been placed out there for public consumption is heavily, heavily, heavily alleged, for I was not there to account or attest all the information that has been placed out there for public consumption. I'm only utilizing it as an example for what I make reference here. And that's all. It's just used as an example. Anything out there other than that is heavily, heavily alleged, because it could be not. I was not there. All right. So now that I got that out of the way, all right. So I had a situation that transpired today, and it's in reference to people in terms of thank you, Kazi Kaz. I'm grateful. It's in reference to when does your opinion matter, right? And they say everybody has an opinion. Opinions comes like, everybody has one, right? And a lot of times, a lot of people like to interject their opinion in realities and different things of that nature. But then there are times when people want to utilize opinions when it's convenient, right? They want the opinion to be a part of certain realities when it is convenient for them. And then when do you exercise your right to draw the boundaries and different things of that nature? And how do you allow certain things to materialize in your reality when it comes to cross creational values in the essence of maintaining the integrity of your world in regulation of your nervous system? Because a lot of times what happens in terms of, becoming aware, because awareness is, awareness is when you are now able to create a reality, right? In the sense of a more conscious state. Okay, what unawareness does is allow you to have a repetition of a reality that you don't necessarily want, but you continue to have this same reality over and over again, right? But the thing about it is that you have this constant reality that you don't want, but you're not willing to take a gamble into a reality that a possible unaware state could potentially give you. And so here it is now, these opinions and different things come into the equation, and people bring all of these opinions and different things of that nature. And we allow these opinions to come into our equation. And what do we allow to manifest? What do we allow to matter, right? And so a lot of times what happens, we allow certain opinions to matter that comes in alignment to that to which who we are in dysregulation. Okay, dysregulation. So you have to begin to, and that's why it's like it's wonderful when you begin to start to remember, or you start to become aware, because then you begin to understand your nervous system a lot more in a state of awareness. And so you will begin to not allow other people's dysregulated opinions to start encompassing your state of awareness, because you don't want this opinion to matter. You know what I'm saying? And it's very important now in a state of awareness to how you allow others people's opinions to matter. Because do you allow this dysregulated opinion to matter, or if this a regulated opinion to matter? Because a lot of times, we had a negative perspective about everybody's opinion. Everybody got one, and what's that saying? I can never get that saying. What everybody got an opinion. Opinions are like, everybody got one, and we always looked at it as a negative connotation, right? But there are some opinions that are regulated, right? So what if it's an actual regulated opinion that could constitute a positive outcome or a beneficial outcome if you understand the aspect to how it is, organized, energetically. So I'm looking at it in a perspective of the glass now being half full, because now you are aware. So now we're looking at the opposite polarity. Instead of looking at it in a fragmented sense of understanding, we're going to look at the same analogy that we've looked upon as a fragmented sense of understanding. And we're going to look at it from a wholeness perspective, because just as we can look at it, opinions are like, everybody got one. From a dysregulated perspective, we can now look at, an opinion from a regulated perspective, right? And allow that aspect of understanding it from a state of awareness that you would like to have encompassed into your world in a regulated sense that you would like to have incorporated to materialize in your reality, right? And I just wanted to bring that essence of now from a state of awareness, you don't necessarily have to look at all things from a dysregulated perspective, because now from a state of awareness and now you are aware, you can now more assess from a perspective of what is regulated and what is dysregulated, because now you're open and you are now more conscious and aware of your own state of what is dysregulated and what is regulated. I had a situation that transpired today where, as I said, I share feels. And so, I had a situation of a family situation where, I offered an opinion, and it was placed in a situation that was dysregulated. So, of course, my opinion was in regulation, but it was injected in a dysregulated situation. So how do you think that opinion was going to be interpreted? It was not going to be interpreted from a regulated state because it went into a dysregulated situation. So sometimes you can't inject a regulated opinion, right, into a dysregulated perceptionary reality, because they're not going to interpret it, a regulated opinion from a dysregulated reality. Okay, and that's another thing that one has to understand in terms of how you present a regulated reality. And so when you share feels, and let me tell you what will happen. The only way this particular type of thing can have a cross-contamination in that regard is only really through family and friends, those that you choose to have a shared feel with. This by far is not going to happen with other vibrational states, because you have to vibrate these people in. You have to align with these beings. And so if you are not vibrationally attuned, these people are not going to come into your field of interest. You understand what I'm saying? They're not going to naturally come into your field of interest. It's only people who you are in agreement with, to share fields with, which will probably be your children, which will probably be your friends, family, maybe people that you are actually like going to work with and different things of that nature, that, you know, specific realities that you are in agreement, that are not necessarily vibrationally attuned, because you're still choosing to have an interaction with those particular modalities that you could potentially have these particular types of exchanges with. So if you have chosen to ascend past those particular vibrational modalities, and you're going and you're still dealing with those particular types of things within your fields, the only way that this will like bog you down, and this is why I'm going to start talk about grounding, because grounding, dealing with shared fields, you have to become grounded, because grounded is what's going to stabilize you in your chosen reality. Otherwise, you're going to be stressed the hell out. You're going to have some issues, not issues. You're going to have some issues, okay? You're going to be stressed out because you're not going to know how to return back to your coherent state of being, which is your true essence of who who you are. The grounding, the true essence of grounding, allows for you to be fully integrated and be able to have variations of multiple field coherences, right? Multiple variations of resonances, right? So you're in what you perceive as 3D level of consciousness, where you're having variations of multiple operational essence of how consciousness is being expressed energetically. And yes, you may have these interfaces of exchanges. And you may have some ebbs and flows, but it allows you to be able to come back to your natural state of coherence, because you are grounded. Otherwise, you're going to be depressed. If you don't ground, it is going to keep you at that low. It's going to keep you in that vibrational, lower vibrational state, because you're not able to come back to your natural state of coherence. So grounding, I'm going to do a lot about grounding and the importance of grounding when you choose to return back into the field of, or I call it center field, or if you choose to operate shared fields. Hi, beautiful. Hi, T-Love, gratitude. And yes, indeed, happy day to you as well. I'm so divinely grateful. And thank you for tuning in to my frequency. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so I just wanted to bring everyday experiences, especially this one in here, because I wanted to give you the polar opposite of opinion, how to interject, when to interject a coherent opinion. You can't interject a regulated opinion in a dysregulated situation, because it's not going to land properly, because the reality is not going to perceive it. They're going to look at it as a threat to their reality. Okay. And sometimes, your intentions are pure because you're moving from unconditional love, and you're just moving in a natural state, and they're not there, and they don't mean any harm. Even though in the midst of the energy exchange, you feel it, you definitely feel it. But then when you come back to your coherent state, you're able to process the experience. But while you're in the experience, it feels really awful because you've met that vibrational state to which they are operating from to some degree. But you don't stay there. And that's where the grounding part of the experience is very important. I can't emphasize enough how important when you have chose wholeness in remembrance of self, okay, in the return of self, in the remembrance of self, you have to ground when you have chosen to no longer fragment, because the grounding is what keeps us from fragmenting and spiraling. Okay, that's what keeps you from spiraling and remaining in that denser state of the dysregulated reality when you're dealing with a field of self or a person that is operating from a dysregulated nervous system. And let me know if you guys understand what I am saying here, because this is what is going to help us understand the transitioning out of survival state into a sense of coherency. Okay, awareness is coherent. Okay. Programming is unconscious awareness. Okay, it's when you're programmed. Okay, all right. The programming is what constitutes dysregulation because it's unconscious. That's when you're unconscious. That's when you could program. So that means that's just like, okay, a slot. Okay, a disc. When the disc is empty, you could program it any kind of way you want. It's nothing there. It's blank. So now you can add programs to that disk because that's kind of somewhat synonymous for it to be kind of somewhat asleep or unconscious. But when it's aware, or if it got information already there, you can't necessarily program it because it's already aware. You can't just put anything in it. It's going to contest it. It's going to be like, nah. You know what I'm saying? Like, so awareness is you're conscious. But a plain disc, you could program it. So the programming is what creates a lot of dysregulation, a lot of misalignment, is what creates a lot of fragmenting. But that's how the consciousness wants to experience the reality. It's not good, it's not bad. It's just this is how consciousness is choosing to experience itself. But when you become aware now, when the signal is allowing itself, when your sovereign state is now beaconing, and it's, the somatic aspect of you is now in your nervous system has now awakened itself, so that the aware state of you is now online, right? The programming is going to start to dissolve. It doesn't need the programming. Salam. I know I'm saying it wrong, Abdul. But welcome, my friend. Salam alaikum. Gratitude for your presence. Divine wholeness unto you. I'm so divinely grateful to have you, my beautiful friend. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. Welcome. Right? So the somatic aspect of you, the knowing of you, that essence of you that is always whole and intact is now beaconing what we understand. I'm grateful. It's always beaconing within, is now coming online. And so the programming that, the how can I say, the illusionary essence of what was perceived as a blank state was always perceptionary in nature, was perceived as a blank state is now dissolving. So these programs are now dissolving, but they had to be, they still have to somewhat become agreed upon in the dissolution, right? The illusion has to be agreed to become dissolved. And so eventually you're going to dissolve these these illusionary programs as you become more in remembrance of your true sovereign state by saying, this ain't me, this ain't my truth. You know what I'm saying? So as you become more online in terms of the true authentic you, these programs, these illusionary programs are going to start to dissolve, okay? And you're going to become more online, okay? But it still created a dysregulation in the biology, okay? So, you know, my situation today is that for a moment, I forgot that, you know, my daughter is still dysregulated. And I offered us, you know, a condition of, you know, how to rearrange a dynamic. And boy, look at here. It just, that energy, that threat energy came online, right? And that wrath came at full force on me. Okay. And I, you know, my nervous system was like, oh, what the hell? Because it's energy. And this is the thing, when you become aware, all of that human experience, everything, that becomes secondary and energy becomes primary. For me, I can only speak for myself. Okay. And so I felt the wrath of the energy, the frequency. And so it hit me, and I said, damn, what did I just do? So I had to regroup and I had to reorganize, and I sat down. And so then now I had to first go back into my neutral state. And I did have some exchanges of conversation, because you get hit with the energy and you're like, okay, this is not what I intended for it to happen. So now you're trying to figure out, okay, what do I do now? Because you're scaffolding, you're falling off the scaffold now. So you're trying to hold on to anything that you can grab to keep from spiraling. Okay. So now I'm like, oh shit. You know, because I'm aware. It's one thing when you ain't aware, because then you're going to go toe to toe. You're going to match that energy. I'm not trying to match that energy. I'm trying to keep from spiraling. Okay. Because I don't want to fall into the pit of where that energy is trying to pull me down into. Okay. So I said to myself, and this is when you guys get to this space energetically, and you're protecting your nervous system. Because remember, if I wasn't sharing a field, I wouldn't have this issue. I wouldn't be having this issue. It's because I'm choosing to share fields. Because the thing of it is one or two things you can do. Okay? It's one or two things. It's either you can because the course of what the consciousness is doing is saying that I am that I am, and I know that I do not have to fragment of myself in any reality. The remembrance of self is saying I don't have to fragment. I chose to fragment to experience fragmentation in survival state. I don't have to fragment because I am that I am. I don't have to fragment. So it's choosing density without fragmentation. Okay? The consciousness of self is choosing density without fragmentation. So it doesn't have to fragment. We just have to remember that we don't have to fragment in order to experience reality. Okay? Now, I'm going to put a reminder in this, because what I'm doing here, and this is for YouTube too as well, I'm placing a face, because there's a lot of automated services out there that's giving philosophical intentions about the human experience through AI. I'm bringing a human into this equation now, okay, with real life experiences without the poetry, okay, so that people can have an identity to understand real life essences of what is actually transpiring in coherence, in wholeness, to understand it from that perspective without the poetry. So I'm bringing quantum relations, right, into real life manifested form. Okay? Translated. Okay? to a certain degree. All right. So when I began to experience that feeling of wanting to spiral energetically, I had to draw boundaries. So now my thing of what is that, okay, I got to draw a boundary. I got to draw a line. I had to neutralize myself. I had to come to an understanding that what her nervous system did in the energy, it did what it needed to do to protect itself in the reality that it has chosen, because it is very heavily identified in that reality. Okay? So my opinion, as regulated as it was not going to land in a dysregulated nervous system. Okay? Right? So now in an aware state, you're going to now know how to offer an opinion in a state that is going to be able to receive that opinion when you begin to regulate your nervous system. Because when you offer an opinion, okay, and not in the condition to which we've learned in regards, oh, everybody, opinions are like, everybody got one. We're moving past that dysregulated sense of understanding of manifestation and materializing realities. Because in a unified sense of manifestation, right, we understand that crystallizing realities in a unified sense is when we do have a unified sense of inter-exchanging energetic ideas with each other. It's just that how is that inter exchanging is transpiring with each other, okay? So that we can create realities or co-create realities, okay? So when you become conscious and you are aware, you are creating responsibly. You know how they say drink responsibly? Well, you're now creating and co-creating responsibly. Because now I'm aware that when you recognize a dysregulated nervous system, and it's nothing against my, it's nothing against my daughter, it's nothing against anybody that I come across that, that presents a dysregulated nervous system, because, and I don't want people to understand dysregulation in a negative connotation. The only thing a dysregulated nervous system is that it has been in survival state, operating in the survival state, that anything that threatens that reality it's going to defend it to the death. Because that reality has been in that state for so long, that reality is very, very real. It has not chosen from a somatic aspect of the nervous system to say that its sovereign state is online for it to realize that there are other realities that is not survival based. So a coherent reality is not an option to that deeply embedded survival state, or a deeply integrated or so a coherent, a dysregulated nervous system, a deeply dysregulated nervous system, a coherent reality is a fairy tale. That's just like a person saying, "Oh, she's delusional." That's where delusion comes in. So so coherent realities to a dysregulated nervous system is when someone's saying, "Oh, she's delusional." There's not, no. That's a dysregulated nervous system would think, if I was to speak in a coherent state and tell you that your magnetism is enough to give you a reality where you don't have to work hard, You don't have to hustle. The first thing a dysregulated nervous system say, man, you crazy. That's delusional. What you mean? You gotta work hard. You gotta hustle to get this money. You got to go out there and get a pound of flesh to get, because a dysregulated nervous system is saying that nothing comes easy. That's what a dysregulated nervous system knows. So when you go and you give them a different alternate reality, a different reality that says, no, it doesn't have to come that hard. It doesn't, that a dysregulated nervous system, which is not bad. It's just that's how the nervous system knows how to operate and create in a reality, in that essence of frequency. That's how it's braided in its DNA lineage, in its environment, in its thought process, in what it has chosen to adapt to in terms of the things that it has collected the being has collected along the way in its repertoire of what it wants to pick up to solidify, justify the reality, to create its world. So that's what the nervous system has braided together to create the realities that it's now projecting in its signaling. Okay? That's exactly what they say too, sis. Yes, that's exactly what they say. It's like it's a fantasy. That, what I'm saying here is not palatable. It doesn't taste right on the tongue for them to even utter the words that it's feasible. Okay? And so I want you guys to just, I don't want people to think that what I'm saying here, because, I understand that, we have been in survival for a very long time. And, it seemed like a long time, but it's really just a blink of an eye. But I get that it seems like we've been in survival for a very long time. And I understand that, a lot of what I'm saying, to a lot of people, it may sound very foreign. But, like I said, awareness is coherence. And when you choose to become aware and you choose to awaken, coherence is going to be your choice. It's going to be your only option. Right? Programming is unawareness. The only way you could become programmed is when you're unaware, because you don't know. So they can program you. And that's why I said outdated programs, because now I'm aware. These programs are now becoming outdated because I'm aware. I only can say that because I'm aware. I'm becoming more aware. So now I have the conscious ability to say, I'm not saying that these programs are non-existent. I'm saying that they are outdated for me because of my state of awareness. I have the ability to eject them out of my repertoire of being because I no longer need them to be. I no longer need them to be in my reality in order for me to have experiences in my reality. I no longer need those particular programs to be. Now, there are beings that still need those programs to be. And they're very viable in their being. Will I have an argument or a diatribe or a long conversation with them? No, because just like with my daughter, my rationale or my regulation is not going to land in a dysregulated nervous system. It doesn't pay to have a conversation with these beings, you guys. It's not going to land. As much as we would like to have a conversation with these beings, so now you understand why beings, you know how they say, oh, you get rich and switch, or they don't want to come into our world and have a conversation with us. It's not that they don't want to come into our world and have a conversation with us. It won't land. Because the nervous system is going to defend the reality. So if I were to go into and say to a person, with a dysregulated nervous system that has chosen a fractal reality, that their nervous system is still in fight or flight, their somatic aspect of their sovereign self has not yet become attuned to their sovereign state in awareness, that racism doesn't exist, that poverty doesn't exist, that the world that they have chosen is not real. If I were to come and say that to them, they're going to say that I'm crazy. They're going to say something is wrong with me, because in their world, based on how their nervous system is beaconing their reality and projecting their reality, it is real to them because of the frequency that their nervous system is projecting. Whereas the world that I am projecting, it's not a reality for me. We're living in two different worlds. One is more coherent than the next. So that's why I say there are worlds within many worlds. That is a truth. Because your world is now operating from a more coherent state than that to which one is operating from a more dysregulated state, because of how the nervous system is internalizing the reality, interpreting and internalizing the reality. How much is that? Mr. Overett says, how much is that who connected to the story? That is very true. Right. Yes. And yes, not in my world. Yes. That is a saying that I say too, also, to love, not in my world. And I also say to a lot of people, it's your truth, not my truth. I say that too as well. Your truth, not my truth. Yeah. Because the ego, when the ego is feeling like it's being threatened, it will send a threat to the nervous system, like, oh snap, we can't we don't want our reality to be dissolved. Because when your sovereign state does awaken, programs do dissolve. The illusion of separation dissolves. The racism dissolves. The morality dissolves. Believe it or not. You understand? Like how you guys see me about the Clarissa Shields. I'm not saying that she's right or wrong. I'm just saying it's neither here nor there. Now, in the 3D world, it's very prevalent. That's the truth. She's a certified bona fide hoe in the 3D world. You know what I'm saying? She all types of adultery and a fornicator and all kind of things in the limited perspective of realities. Certified. Okay? In that world, in that dysregulated nervous system survival state reality, she all got in that world. So in that world, that's a true reality in that world. But when you become more coherently understood in terms of energy, all that shit, you know what time it is in an expanded mind state of being. Hey, don't kill the messenger. All right, I'm just saying, all right. It's appropriately placed in the reality that it is. Yes, she's operating from an open state in a reality that is very closed-minded, in a reality that operates from a limited state of being. That has guidelines, that has parameters, but that's how the reality is constructed. So she chose, but see, this is where I tell you guys that consciousness does whatever it wants to do. And when you get an oddity that chose to go into a consciousness to defy the odds, you know what I'm saying? Just to be an asshole, just to create a disruption, you get people like Donald Trump, Clarissa Shields, just to create chaos and confusion. You know what I'm saying? Just to get y'all draws in a bunches. But then there's people like me that just sit back and just laugh at the shit and say, man, she got y'all on the roll. You know what I'm saying? Once the expanded awareness comes and, mine came online a little bit more. And when I started to realize like, shit, she's just giving y'all a little bit of entertainment in a reality that is so tight in the ass. You know what I'm saying? The limitation make you tight in the ass. The limitation, it makes you tight in the ass, some tight wads. You know what I'm saying? But that's what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to make you, tight. You know what I'm saying? It's a limited construction of reality. You know what I'm saying? That's what it's supposed to do, Y'all laughing, Kazi's laughing at me. But it is. That's what it's supposed to do. It's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay? But, it's the tight asses. Yeah, it's making tight asses, loosen up, But it's okay. It's okay. It's doing what it's supposed to do. People like being tight asses, apparently. There's a lot of tight asses in the collective mind. They love the structure. They love the confinement. They love the conformity, right? Hi, Trinity. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful and welcome. They love what the fractal self allows for the experience to conjure and bring and different things of that nature. So it's no judgment. But my thing of it is like I said, when you have chosen, as a person that, an essence of consciousness that has chose to operate in form somatically, right, from a coherent state of being, right, and you solicit an opinion to a shared field of being, and like I said, most of the time it's just going to be a being that you are allowing in your field of energy, which is that of your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, your friend, or even maybe somebody in your job and different things of that nature. People that you are in allowance of your field of energy. Grounding is very important. The inner grounding, not just the external grounding. That inner grounding that is going to keep you from spiraling. And like I said, these are for people, essences of consciousness, which is you, me, myself, essences of consciousness that is chose to express wholeness on the physical plane and has chose to maintain coherence without fracture, right? Without fracture. So that means that you are going to remain whole without fracturing, without fragmentation. Okay? And in order to do that, you have to internally ground. And so therefore, if you do buck up on somebody that you have allowed into your field, which is your mama, your daddy, your sister, your brother, your friend, somebody at work, or whatever the case that you are choosing to allow in your repertoire of being, because you're still, holding the fort in, some essences of 3D consciousness, and you decide to solicit an opinion to a dysregulated nervous system, and they decide to defend their reality, right? They decide to defend their reality, and then they try to draw you into that frequency band. You don't fragment and spiral and fragment. You know how to bring yourself back up into the essence of your true coherence. That's how you don't fragment in the reality of density. Okay? You're able to bring yourself back up into coherence without staying there and being all foobar. You know what I'm saying? You're not messed up and all this other kind of stuff, right? Okay. Now, if you was a monk, you've been there and say, bye family, I'm going in the wilderness and I'm staying in my coherence without being tempted. Because see, this is what the Christos consciousness tries to elude the 40 days and the 40 nights that Jesus came out of the temptation, right? Able to ride those waves. Yeah, you got to be able to surf. Yes, you are the wave. You not a particle anymore. You are the wave. That's the difference. You're no longer the particle anymore. You are the wave. Okay? No more particles. You're the wave. You are the wave. Okay? And so the misguidance that, I shouldn't say it like this, but the misguidance sometimes, it's like, say Jesus went away, blah, 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 whatever the case may be. So I would like to say that Jesus went away to get his shit together and he came back. He came back, the return. He came back, he integrated, and he came back, motherfucker. He came back. God damn it. He left and he came back. Shit. He returned. And that's me. I returned, goddamn it. Shit. We jig. Okay? We came back. We came back, damn it. Shit. Okay? 40 days, 40 nights, goddamn it, 40 club. Okay? We came back. Alright? We came back. Right? Integrated. Grounded. Throwing tables and shit. Is this your God? Alright? G with the shit. Okay? Breaking that bass at 808. It's Caesar. Caesar, your God. Thou art Caesar is that to which thou serve. Some shit. I don't even know. I don't know. Okay? Okay? So, when you get into an essence of opinions that matter, it's a difference from a regulated opinion and a dysregulated, going into a dysregulated embodiment, okay? Because there are dysregulated embodiment. Survival is a dysregulated embodiment, okay? Okay? Dysregulated embodiment is not bad. It's a reality. It's a chosen reality, right? That creates a polarized reality to that to which who you are in truth is there to create the opposite effect to that to which you are in truth. Regulated, dysregulated, polarized. So the polarity of regulated is dysregulated, right? So it has to create a dysregulation. It's not bad. It's just the opposite of that to which who you are in truth. The polarity, the yin and the yang, that to which you are in truth is not good or bad. It's there to create the opposite of it. That's why you got the 1% that you perceive as the Rockefellers and the Vanderbilts, and then you got the 1% that is in coherence, which is the aware state or the illuminated ones, right? You got the illuminated ones, you got the Illuminati, okay? It's all encompasses of the yin and the yang. You always have been operating in wholeness. You just would not. You have the aware and you have the unaware. So now the only difference is that when you are aware, is that you can now understand the wholeness of you. In the state of unawareness, the program only allowed us to understand the fractal part of you, even though we were still operating in wholeness. The program allowed us to only understand the fractal essence. It allowed us to perceive the fractal part of ourselves. the particle you, the atom, the empty atom, the evolution of the atom, Adam and Eve, the evolution of the atom. And the evolution of the atom was to evolve itself back into the essence of the wholeness of self, the remembrance. Okay? I'm grateful to be able to take what transpired today and bring it into you as a teachable moment, a remembrance. Whereas that you could begin to, for those of you who are sharing fields with beings in the essence of returning, grounding again is not just going out there, sticking your feet in the ground, but the integration of that into the aware state that you have chosen, the reality. And let me tell you one of the greatest thing about the internal grounding is finding yourself in situations that your nervous system is thinking that it's a threatening situation, and you realizing in awareness that it's not a threatening situation. And you simply saying your awareness is looking around like this ain't threatening. And how you know that it's not, how you know that your nervous system is thinking that it's threatening, you feel tight. Your breathing starts to aspirate a lot faster. So your awareness, you have to now become attuned to your body. This is where now you got to be attuned to your body. Okay? And you're going to have to look at and assess the situation that you're in, but you're going to be like, okay, there's nothing threat here. So now you got to tell your nervous system that there is no threat. I am safe. Even though your nervous system is thinking that it's in survival, it's got to, it's got to fight, flight, or freeze. You now have, in awareness, you now have to attune and you have to know your own body patterns. Yes. Your aware state is going to allow you now, the somatic you, that ancient you in your nervous system, in your gut. Remember they said that gut instinct in the somatic you is now going to listen. It's online now. The sovereign essence is online. So it's going to listen and say, when you say, I'm safe, there's no threat here. I remember I told you guys one time, I had a headache. I had a headache so bad. And I'm like, what did I have a headache? And it was my daughter again, gave me a headache. But I'm like, what I got a headache for? Because I had already was going through my transitional state of my integration. But I was like, what I got a headache for? But see, what it was the cellular memory. The cellular memory was still intact, even though I had gone through my integration process. So the cellular memory, because of the normal reaction that I would normally have when I had that particular type of engagement with her, was still in the responsive state. In the normal response, it was just like a chain reaction. Get on your nerves, blah, 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 have a headache. So it was the epigenetics, environment, factors. It was just doing this normal rotation. But I was aware. I didn't really feel like I hadn't been through no real traumatic situation, because I was cool, calm, and collected, because I was more I was calm because I was going, I had to went through my integration. Because the funniest thing, and this is what I didn't tell anybody, it's like, it's almost like your computer. My integration was I don't really tell anybody this because I don't want nobody coming with the paddy wagon after me or whatever, but my shit was weird. I literally heard some things when I was going through my integration process. I knew when I was fully integrated. I knew when I was grounded. I just knew it was just the information. You would not believe the things that happened. I can't even tell nobody. Like, nobody would believe me. Just nobody would believe me. So anyway, I knew that there was no threat there. So because I was having this headache and I knew that it was no real threat there, I just said, I'm safe. I'm okay. And within about maybe a minute or two, I just felt something it just felt like something was just leaving. Like something like you know how in a drain you let out a drain and like you unplug something and it just something that was just drained, and it felt like my headache was just draining, and it just went completely, like the vagus nerve or something opened up or something, and it just went away just like that. I shit you not. Only because I was aware. And it took what I said for truth, that there was no threat, and it wasn't no threat. And that's when I began to now regulate my nervous system, because now I'm aware. And so now the grounding and everything is now in synchronization. The coherency now can come more faster now, because it's now the grounding, the synchronization, the awareness. So when I do get into that field of dysregulation with 3D conscious of a fractal being experiencing survival reality, and I fuck up and allow a coherent, regulated suggestion, opinion, or conversation to get in the midst of something, and they feel threatened by it, and then they go and attack it, I got something to hold on to. I'm not spiraling. And I could easily come back into my coherent state. Okay? Then now you have recognition of that particular being that you are allowing in your field. Because the beings that you are not allowing in your field, they don't have no resonance to you. They won't come into your field because you're not allowing them, and they're not vibrationally attuned. It's only beings that you are saying yes to, that you are giving permission to be within your field. Anybody else, they won't be able to. They are not vibrationally attuned. It's only people that you're saying yes to. So now you got to make an assessment. Do you really want these people in your space? That's going to keep you in constant fluctuation, where you now got to constantly place boundaries, because you don't want to have these particular types of fluctuations where you constantly, if they're not willing to, how can I say, if they're not willing to attune to your reality, it's not for you to have to adjust to them. Because eventually, if you keep dealing with them long enough, you can alter your state of being. And it can become taxing on you. Okay? It can become taxing. Yes, T-Love, yes. All right? Because you're taking yourself out of your coherent state, dealing with them, because you're allowing them to be in close proximity to who that you are, and it's not worth it. So a lot of boundaries have to be drawn. My daughter already know shit. I draw the line. When you act from fucking up, I draw the line. When you act right, I may open the door. But I'm getting to a point where, no. And a lot of times, It's a choice. One of the things that I want to put out there to people, and I know I might get a lot of backslash with this, but I'm going to put a story out there, and this may rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I want you guys to hear me out, because I think there's a misconception about the human experience and what a biology allows for the experience to be, and what the limited reality affords for the experience to be. So in the human experience, the biology allows a pathway through the female anatomy for people to be born into the experience. And, you have birth, and you have the feminine energy and different things of that nature. That is the creational value to allow transport into this reality through the female energy, which is which is creational energy, which is allowing the pathway for beings to be born into this reality, right? Into the human experience. And so in the fractal state of the programming of the reality, the mother, the nurturer, parents, and different things of that nature, we have this programming where, oh, you're the mother, you have to be this way, you have to be that way. We're naturally nurturers and different things of that nature, and we nurture our children and blah, 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 and this and that or whatever. And we just feel that there is an obligation in this particular role for us to be a certain way to our children and different things of that nature, not realizing that through biology is a passage into this reality for the essence of consciousness to experience itself in form. And a lot of people don't, that sounds too cut and dry. It sounds as if it doesn't have any compassion in it. You mean to tell me that the female essence of itself just use the female biology just to come in and have the human experience, and that's all that it is, and that's what it is? Well, no, that's not just all that it is, but pretty much, yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's a passageway for the human experience, for and that's why the female energy frequency is so revered, because it gives passageway. It is a stargate for the essence of itself in consciousness to be able to experience itself in the physical plane, but its consciousness of itself in physical form in the human experience to experience itself. Okay, said all of that to say this. So we are experiencing consciousness and how consciousness chooses to take shape and form on the physical plane. But the programming says that we have to be a certain way. And that's the paradox that gets us in a lot of trouble energetically, vibrationally, and the frequency, because we don't know how to draw the boundaries to how consciousness chooses to express energetically and vibrationally, because we allow these labels that has come into the fragmented experience and survival to say, oh, you're a mom. Oh, you're a dad. Okay. Oh, that's your friend. Oh, this is your job. This is your livelihood. Okay. I will say, in the essence of coherence, those stigmas and different things are very much relaxed. You don't give two shits about them motherfucking labels. Okay? You look at them motherfuckers as the consciousness that is expressing and the energy that they are choosing to express from. And if it's not in alignment or coherence to that to which you have chosen to be, you do not no longer align with it. No matter if they did come from the JJ or not. Okay? The titles and all of that shit goes out the window. Now, does that make you love them any less? No. No, it doesn't. That's why Tina Turner said, what love's got to do with it? It didn't make you love anybody any less. It's not about love. It's about coherence. It's about resonance. Because now you understand that it had shit to do with all them motherfucking labels. That is what kept you in survival. Them labels is what kept you in survival. Them labels is what kept you in dysregulation. Them labels is what kept you in a perception of fixed reality, any energetic, vibrationally, and in frequency. Okay? Now, as I've said, to my Instagram family and my YouTube family, I'm bringing a face, I'm bringing presence, I'm bringing real relational reality over into the experience, because I understand that the Alan Watts and the Carl Jungs and all of the great beings of, consciousness and different things, they were very poetic in nature. And I love the work that they have brought to the forefront. And I know that a lot of people are talking about manifestation and they want to talk about wealth, consciousness, and different things of that nature. But this is the healing part of how you get to wealth consciousness. When you can now reverse, you got to subtract now. You gotta subtract now. We have had the addition, so now we got to subtract. Okay? It's gotta let it go, let it go, let it go, let it go. We gotta let it go. Okay? And in order for us to realize what it is that we have to let it go, we have to understand through the state of unconditional love, and unconditional love synonymously is neutrality. Unconditional love is neutrality, right? It's not about you allowing them to be. One of the things that I had told my brother today, we were talking about our kids. And, I think my niece had told, I told my brother, I said, okay, well, and it was about opinion again. They said, our opinions don't matter. And I said, okay, this is where you allow them to be, let them be in the world that they created. Because the thing of it is this, the world, the only time our opinion matters is when they want something from us, and then that's when our opinion matters. You don't get to pick, choose, and refuse when our opinion matters. So the world that you created, live in it, learn from it, allow it to be what you are choosing for it to be. And if it's kind to, if it's because it's a reflection of you. And I think that if we begin to allow these things to be the reality that it truly, and stop sending mixed signals, and allow people to really truly see the true reflection to that to which they are creating, then they'll get sick and tired a lot faster. Okay? Because I had my son to tell me some things. And I was like, oh, okay. Well, the world that you are creating is the world that you're going to experience. Since I can't you don't want my opinion. And that's why when I say, a lot of times when they say, oh, opinions are like A, and they don't want a regulated opinion, then you allow them to experience the reality that they are creating. When they tell you that they are grown A person, or whatever the experience are, you rescind. And you allow them to experience the world that they are creating. But you have to be strong. You have to be strong. And a lot of times spitting on myself. A lot of times we intercede and we give mixed signals. And we jump in. But whatever world that they are creating, That's the reality that they should really truly be experiencing in truth. But that's just my opinion now that I am on the operating from the other side of the rainbow. Because when we interfere with a dysregulated nervous system, it kind of messes us up in a certain extent. And it keeps us in a operational state of survival, especially when we were not grounded. We were not moving from a grounded state. And when we were operating from an unaware state and thinking that, oh, if I stand outside and I put our feet in the sand, and we never did the internal work, that was half stepping. Because you still didn't do the internal grounding that you needed to do to regulate your nervous system. The true grounding to that to which you needed to regulate your nervous system. To match the external grounding that connects you to the plane herself, which is not really separated from you. And this is where I was telling you guys the other day. You talk about the CMEs from the sun, from the external value, or the solar flares or whatever from the sun. But what about the sun within? What about the planetary system that is within you? What about the moon within you? What about the Jupiter that is within you? The very thing that you are experiencing from a perceptionary measure, that to which you have not even fully seen from an external value, to which you're just perceiving based off of what has been told to you, because nobody really has seen these things. Even if you say you've gotten a telescope, okay, how many of you guys have actually taken a telescope to say that you've actually experienced these things through a telescope? Not many of us, okay? But we believe in these things from an external value, but we don't take that same belief and apply them to our own internal value. Because that is the completion. So everything that you have encompassed from an external event, I'm not taking that away from you. But until you start from home and get your own house in order first, then nothing from an external value is going to have any active relevancy. It's not going to be activated until you actually do the internal work within and become aware of what that truly encompasses and what that truly involves. And so, my philosophical point of view right now is understanding that my opinion really doesn't matter. It only matters for what I truly want it to matter for. And right now, that is a coherent relationship for those who are open and willing to integrate with that essence of resonance. And this is where, even with my channel, in the beginning, middle, and end, to the best of my ability with what I can work with, that is the core essence of what I do. It's like I am building in resonance, because I understand that it's not going to land unless it resonates and someone is open, at least open to become attuned. At the very minimum, they have to be open to become attuned. If it doesn't fully resonate, they have to at least be open to become attuned. Other than that, you try to impose anything as a regulated being that you are choosing to allow in your field of interest, a regulated anything onto a dysregulated nervous system, that's not going to land. And now you've just placed yourself in a possibility of potentially spiraling. And if you are not grounded and know how to bring yourself back into coherence, that can fuck up your manifestation in terms of how you want to experience or your reality. Because the physical plane is where you want the manifestation to come into form. You want it to come into fruition. And your biology is what attunes to that to make that happen. Your biology. So that is the gist of what it is that I'm here to do with my channel, with, Instagram, bringing Instagram into YouTube, and YouTube into Instagram, the integration of both. And I'm very grateful to be able to have the ability to articulate that and to bring things into this platform in the manner to which I'm doing, and to bring some sense of clarity so that you guys can understand. And like I say, give. I have the channel thing here on Instagram. I wish you guys had the ability to, have the typing thing on there. I'm going to see if I can put something there where you guys can leave a little bit of a comments until I can rectify some of the stuff that I'm having here. But it's a little bit challenging, and with me being somewhat of the technically challenged person. Right now, I think I'm about to pay this person like $1,000 a month to help me organize just for a couple of months, not maybe 1 or 2 months. Okay, it ain't gonna be no. Probably just be 1 month. I'm gonna ask for 15 days and try to see if I can do 500. When they said $1,000, I had to clutch my pearls, and I ain't even had no pearls. Shit, I think I clutched my skin. I said, Jesus. I said, oh, I'm getting chills now. I said, Jesus Christ. Well, I said, because I don't know how. I'm not a technical person, and I ain't got no friends. I ain't got no technical friends. I said, damn, I ain't even got no technical friends. I ain't got nobody, Okay, imaginary pearl grab, okay? I was like, Jesus, I ain't even got no friends, But, I'm very dedicated to, getting this information out there, because I really do think that this is viable. And I think that people would like to know what kind of work I need everything done, sis. I'm really trying to find out. The most important thing is with this particular type of information is to find what this is for the algorithm with face. A lot of what this does is a lot of content is like is not in this frequency band. And it's still information in spirituality that still promotes dysregulation. It's still fear-based in spirituality. It's still offering bypassing without integration. It's not showing a face at the quantum level. So on YouTube, because it's not moving in the essence of urgency, where you're getting people to purchase and buy stuff and still move at a dysregulation state, YouTube is probably not going to see it as beneficial for ads. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to move where it doesn't cost people that are interested in this. I don't have to charge people anything or whatever, and I can still find some suitable sustainability through it. So I have to hire a strategist, and strategists they're not cheap, okay, to strategize. But my biggest issue is that I won't compromise my integrity. That's my issue. That's my issue. Is I won't compromise my integrity. It's like they want you to kind of okay, well you might have to, do, and I won't compromise my integrity, because that's not what I'm here for. That's not my purpose. My purpose is what you see me doing here right now. This is what it is. Being authentic, translatable in terms of being a live face about this awakening, and not bullshitting you guys about what it is. Like, for instance, when the awakening first came out, like the time that when you guys saw me bring out my whiteboard, the reason why I brought out my whiteboard, because I was like, no, something ain't right about this. Because I said to myself, I said, if the dimensional selves is the way that it is, how do you have the goddamn experience in physical form? If I had, and I said, they kept telling you, oh, you're going to experience fifth dimensional consciousness. And I said, okay, well, if you're going to experience fifth dimensional consciousness, how the hell are you going to experience fifth dimensional consciousness without going back into the 3D plane? How do it just something was missing in the equation, and that was my beaconing. So I had to, and I knew I was getting all of the downloads and everything, and it just kept bothering me. I'm like, something ain't right about this, and I knew I had already had started it last year, and I said it in a video, and the video came around back to me when I had the Blueprint channel, and I had said it in a video in the Blueprint channel, and I said integration, and I was like, damn, I said the shit without even realizing it. And that's when it had started, and I knew, and I didn't even realize that I had said it, and I said integration, and I can play, and it's on the Blueprint channel, that the Blueprint of My 1% channel. And all of that was coming out, the 1%, the Blueprint of My 1%. I was getting all of the information, but it was not organized because I had not yet grounded. So the grounding allowed for the stability to take form, to take shape and form. Otherwise, I was all over the place. And that's another thing grounding allows you to do. It allows you to stabilize. It allows you to embody. It allows you to contain. Okay, and that's what the physical plane does. Right? So now I'm organized, I'm contained, I'm stabilized, I'm embodied, right? I'm embodying the essence of the reality. Okay? So it's when y'all saw me with that whiteboard, it was me trying to like figure out, okay, something about the way they're commercializing this reality. They're missing something, and they're telling everybody, oh, the fifth dimensional level of consciousness, you're going, your life is going to be great and everything, and you're escaping the third density reality. No, it ain't no escaping the third density reality, because people didn't even understand that it's not third density. It's consciousness experiencing fractal, the particle self. That's the true, but everybody understands it as 3D. It's the fractal you, right? Perceiving fractal you. But I just use 3D consciousness because that's where, that's how people understand it. They don't understand it. They understand it from a metaphysical perspective, but not at a quantum level. Okay? And I don't try to oversaturate anybody, because I want people to get the gist of what I'm saying from a localized perspective, not from, too much where it's like, what did you say? Right? So I just take the common thing of what people understand it, the most common thing, but that's what started it. And so with YouTube now, what people are doing is a lot of faceless information, but it's still poetic to a certain degree. It's still at a quantum. And that's what made me start off with saying quantum simplified. Because I understood all of the quantum talking without ever having to take any type of quantum classes and different things of that nature, but I just could not articulate it. I understood it, but I couldn't articulate it. So I had to find a way to simplify it in my own language. And even with me simplifying it, but AI takes away. Hi third eye, gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning in. I'm so grateful. Yes, AI. I like AI, and I've tried to use AI in the past, but I've noticed that with AI tries to dilute my tone. And hi, my friend. AI tries to dilute my tone. And I ain't on that. Okay, so for instance, I would have something and I would still have to turn around and modify it, You know what I'm saying? I would still have to turn around and modify it. I do leave some of what AI has done, but I would turn around and have to modify it. And so the problem is that if I leave AI up and just like say, it'll probably reach the algorithm, but that's not my truth. It modified my tone. And so if I have to reach sustainability in that way, I can't, I can't. I just say I guess I'll be out there on the corner, y'all. I'm gonna be panhandling. Y'all gonna have to come to Florida. Y'all gonna have to go give me y'all gonna have to give me some $5 and $10. I'm gonna throw up my cash app or something. I don't know. I just can't do it. I just can't. I don't know. I don't want my tone modified. I don't want my tone modified. I am pure tone. I was telling my sister-in-law the other day, I said, I'm so pure tone. I'm so pure tone that it doesn't pay. You have to give it multiple materials so it can pick up on your flow. I do. It does pick up on my flow, and it says that I need translation because I'm abstract. That's what it said. It says I'm very abstract. And if I'm abstract, because they said I'm very cosmic. My tone is very cosmic. Not the words, my tone is cosmic. Of course they call me an original. I already know that. I mean, I already know that. You're speaking to the choir. You understand? I know that. And I can't depart from the tone of me because I chose pure tone. The pure tone of you is your sovereign state. The layered you is the third D consciousness. It's the consciousness that is fractal. Okay? That's all in a simplified essence of quantum self. That's all that is. All the other stuff and everything that a lot of you guys, I'm simplified. I'm quantum simplified. I just break it down. Now, if you guys want the more robust and intricate, what is it called? The more complicated aspect of the quantum self is there. Because as I say, in wholeness, you got the simplified self and you got the complexity of self. And the complexity of self is when you get all them windows and the mirrors and all of the squares over squares and the matrix of self and different things of that nature for those who want to understand the complexity side of the quantum self. It's there. But I have chosen to express from the simplified version of self. Right? Because of the state of being that I'm choosing to bring forth to those who want to understand the simplified version of self. So that's my chosen reality. If I wanted to shift into the complexity side of self, well, that might take me a few years, but I'm sure I'll be able to go into the quantum complex. But I chose quantum simplified. So I can hear the quantum complexities and then turn around and simplify it. But can I articulate it? Hell no. I won't be able to repeat the shit. No, I won't be able to repeat it, but I can hear it and translate it. They say I'm too cosmic. You ever hear some shit? And so for a person that's in dysregulation, they won't understand a word that is coming out of my mouth. I had read something to my mom. And I asked my mom in regular words. It was regular words. And I asked my mom, I said, Mama, do you understand what I said? And she said no. And it was in regular words. But I like it. She said I like it. But then when I had chat to rearrange it and I read it, she said, oh, that's nice. I said, get your ass. And it rearranged it in a way. It rearranged it in a way where I got it, but I don't talk like that. That's not when I'm okay. Just like mine, right? In a way that okay. So I have AGI now, artificial generated general intelligence, different from what I've been using. Let me see. I have AGI now, artificial general intelligence, different from what we've been getting used to. AIG can learn from the ground up. So wait 3 to 4 months from now and you will have access to the new. Yeah, because I've relaxed from Chat GPT. The only thing that I utilize Chat GPT for right now is just to do when because I upload my video first, and then I allow YouTube to generate a transcript, and then I upload the transcript into Chat so that it can give a more accurate description of the video. So that way it's not an abstract description of the video. It's more detailed, so that when people go into the description of the video, it's more defined, right? But pretty much that's pretty much what I use Chat GPT for, because I want authenticity. I'm not gearing away from authenticity. One of the greatest things that I love about Alan Watts, all of the greats and different things of that nature, I love the poetic side. And I do have poetry when I write, and all of that. But it doesn't bring in the real life events to what we're having. Like, I took something that I had happen today, and I brought a sense of understanding. Excuse the mess up and switch around. It's all right. I got you. Hey, we here, baby. We here. I took a real life event, and this is what people need to understand in terms of how to feel safe to go back into the coherency of self. It's not something that it's not a new event. It's something that is deeply within you. It's a place of origin. It's an original state. It's just that you don't remember that original state because the fragmented particle you have been operating in such a fragmented state for such a time. It's just that feels safe. And so the original you don't remember, coherence is safe. You know what I'm saying? You're still finding safety in a fragmented sense. And that's why I say I'm not taking away the pleasures of the stories. The stories are still good to have. The Anunnakian story, the Black is Beautiful story, the Black race story, and all this other kind of stuff that people have. That's layers. Okay, that's layers to the organic you, and I'm not taking that away. But you need to get your, if you're choosing coherence, and this is just my, how I understand my now moment. If you're choosing coherence, the regulation of you will allow you to be able to understand those stories more coherently. Okay, it's a big difference when you have chosen awareness, expanded awareness in coherence. Those stories hit differently. It hits differently. And ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And 9 times out of 10, you will probably find yourself more in a neutral space with a lot of those stories when you choose to become, in the essence of coherence. It's not just, and you won't deny the fact to those who are still choosing to operate and express from those states of being. You won't have a judgment at all. It just may no longer be your cup of tea. And even if you did decide to allow it to be your cup of tea, you just might want to sip a little bit. It won't be a whole cup. You know what I'm saying? You might just peekaboo just to see what the new topic is in that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And just laugh and be like, they still fucking with that shit again, and then be bye. You know what I'm saying? Just to have fun with the experience itself for a little bit. Just a little bit, not a lot, just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So you experience reality a whole hell of a lot different. This is one thing that this one guy said that makes me laugh to this day by being in this state of being. And that's why I said if I came to return, I'm bringing the 808, and I'm glad that I did. And he said in the essence of the illusion of separation, he said one thing about the neuromelanated being is that, in the illusion of separation, he said we got soul, right? We got soul. And I laughed. I laughed so heartedly. And I said, this man don't know that soul is in everything. It's in everything. And the consciousness has a way of making liars out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that Donald Trump said that made me laugh. When he was talking in Black History, he said, we made the this, we made that. He wasn't talking about no America. Well, hi, Witch. Happy Mercury Day to you too, beautiful. Hi, Kim. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. I'm so divinely grateful. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. He wasn't talking about, because everybody get caught up in the skin and how consciousness choose to express. Because from an aware state, you don't understand that it's one field. One field. I'm grateful. Thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you. I have a new YouTube channel, so don't forget to subscribe. It's called Pi's Sovereign Signature. It's the wholeness of me, and I'm so grateful to have it. And I would love for you to be a part of that equation as well on the YouTube side. So don't forget to subscribe over on that side. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, you guys don't, when you get into the essence of what, thank you, beautiful. When you get to the essence of understanding how consciousness is funny. They got jokes. And the fractal self will have you thinking that it's one thing when it's totally another thing. But it's okay, because that's what it's here to do. It's here to experience itself in so many different variations in shapes and forms, because it can be quite boring when you know everything and you know that you're whole. And this reality is so peaceful, it's so quiet, and hell, in the fractal self, it's party. I'm this, I'm that. And I can do this, that, and I'm over here, and you think I'm this, and I'm really that, and you think I'm this, and and the guesswork, and all this. It's fun central in the fractal self. You know what I'm saying? And then when you get into the coherent state, it's all, peace and, soft and everything. But what brings the G shit is when you can maintain, the guesswork, right? But the G shit is what we're doing now, the motherfucking return. Bitch, I can stay whole even when motherfuckers is still operating fragmented. That's some G shit. Okay? Right? The motherfucking return, and I can maintain coherency without fragment, and I can still be in 3D consciousness and maintain coherency. Cause I'm grounded. Okay? Right? Okay? I could go through turbulence without spiraling and maintain wholeness without fragmenting. Okay? That's what the essence of consciousness is choosing on this side of the rainbow. Okay? Okay? That's what this channel is about. And I still can be wealthy. Don't have to, if I choose to work a 9 to 5, you really gangster. Cause now, but I'm gonna tell you though, that construct ain't gonna like your ass. They ain't gonna like you now. That sovereign state, you gonna have to turn to a Clark Kent. But that Superman, that S on your chest go, hey, they ain't gonna Clark Kent ain't gonna be able to stay Clark Kent for too long. I'ma tell you now. You gonna go up in that motherfucker, ain't gonna shit. You gonna walk up in there with that Superman on your chest every day. I'm Superman, bitch. I'm Superwoman. You ain't gonna even come in there with the suit and tie no more. And they gonna look at you as the oddity that you are. Did she just come in here with her S on her chest? She ain't wearing the suit and tie no more. She just done came in here butt ass naked. And she ain't wearing the suit and tie. Yeah. That sovereign state, hey, that y'all thought that S was for Superman. No, that S is for sovereign. That S is for sovereign, okay? So you gonna go up in there. You gonna go up in there, but they ain't gonna like your ass for too long. I don't know how long you go. What was the girl name? I can't think of the girl name that was Supergirl. What was her name? I can't think of her name. But I know Clark Kent because that was my baby. Christopher Reeve is my baby, honey. He was my baby daddy. He didn't know he was my baby daddy for a long time. Christopher Reeve my baby daddy. He didn't know. But yeah, you go in there. He ain't know he was my baby daddy for a long time. Christopher Reeve my baby daddy. But yeah, you gonna go in there with your Clark Kent, right? Your Clark Kent. You gonna try to, but that shit ain't gonna work. That shit ain't gonna work. No, not Wonder Woman. What's the name? The girl that played Supergirl. I can't think of her name, but I knew Clark Kent because I grew up on I grew up on Superman, and I grew up on Wonder Woman too. I can't think of her name that she played Wonder Woman. I can't think of her name either. But I love Wonder Woman. Lois Lane was the co-worker. But I don't know what the Supergirl name. Yes, I was jealous of that. Man, I was like, he gotta love Lois Lane, and he was so in love with Lois. And I'm like, she don't love you. She just like that you can fly. I told my mama that I think I was about 7 years old. And I was crying. I told my mama, I say, she doesn't love him. She just like because he can fly. I was so hurt. I was like 7 years old. And my mama said, she doesn't love, she just likes because he can fly. I was like, oh God, I was so in love with Superman, y'all. I was loving Superman, and I was in love with Michael Jackson. Oh my God. Kara? Who was Kara? Supergirl? Oh, that was her name, Supergirl. Yes, I was so in love. I told my mama, I said, she don't love him. She only loves me because he can fly. Oh my God, my mama thought that was so cute. Oh, Supergirl name is Kara L. Oh, she's an L. Okay, she's from the Elohim. Oh, you too? Okay. Oh, girl, don't tell me that. But I'm over it now. I'm a grown ass woman. Grown ass married woman. No, I can't let my husband hear that shit, Shit, I was a kid. I'm entitled to have fantasy. Hi, Golden Sugar. Hi, beautiful. Gratitude for your presence. Thank you for divinely tuning into my frequency. Let me call my daughter and see if she can pick up the kids. Let me see. Really quickly. Uh-oh. All right, hold on. Let me see. But yes, I know. Listen, man, it was like, shoot. But those were the days. That's when we were able to live through our imagination and everything. And I was so, and it was so real for me. It was so real. I remember going to the movies and I said, she do not love him for real. She only like L is for angels. Yeah, the Elohim, yes. But that's a whole nother story. That's angle of angels is angle of light. Right? The angle of the fractal self. The light is the fractal self. Angle of light. Angels, angle of light. Right? So when you have the Elohim. Okay? But I'm not going to get into that. Because I don't want to. That's the breath. But we, you know, we are beautiful. We are so beyond the construct of the programming. I'd be so excited when the programming dissolve and stuff like that, and eternal life. Yes, we are. We very much are that. Very much so. And the perception of the Elohim in the and like even hierarchy. I had an issue with hierarchy, but you do know that there is a light side of hierarchy, and then there is a lower side of hierarchy. The fractal side of hierarchy is that to which we experience with the perception of, to give you an example, I shouldn't say it, but I'm not going to say it, but there is a different version of hierarchy too as well. So when you look at wholeness, right? When you look at wholeness, just know that it has a polarity. In wholeness, it has a polarity of an opposite. Okay? So like I said, and I used the examples that we saw, the 1%ers, there's a 1% of coherence, and there's a 1%, or like you had the 1% of the Vanderbilts, you thought, the 1% of the wealth, you got the 1% of those that are in the essence of coherence, that is moving, shifting the consciousness into coherence. You had the 1% that shifted the consciousness into the fractal state, and you got the 1% that is shifting the consciousness in coherence. Okay? So there was a 1% that shifted the consciousness in the fractal state, to which you know it to be as the Vanderbilts, what was the other ones I said, the Rockefellers and all the or what we perceived as the crown and all this other kind of stuff, or as what you guys called. I am not gonna, because I don't want YouTube to put that shit under my video or whatever. But yeah, okay. So you got another essence in the opposite, or the yin or the yang, the yin side, the yang side, however you want to look at it. It's always encompassed in wholeness, right? So the wholeness perception, the 1% is the coherent side. That's going, that too also can shift the consciousness into coherency. And guess who's on the coherent side? Pick me! I'm donkey. Pick me! Pick me! Pick me! Pick me! I ain't no damn pick me though. Shit. Fuck that. I ain't no pick me. I am. All right. So, like I said, with the understanding of what this is in terms of wholeness, I'm here to bring real life experiences of face, to take out the AI automation. And don't get me wrong, the AI automation to quantum mechanics and different things of that nature, I think are amazing. I don't want to downgrade those particular types of concepts, but I just don't think that a lot of people really, unless you are at that frequency level, I don't think that a lot of people are going to be able to relate to it without the experiences that can associate to assimilate. Okay. And so I had this real life experience that transpired today, and I was able to associate and assimilate that to the nervous system and how to regulate your nervous system. And I'm able to take everyday experiences so that you can begin to capture what to do to regulate your nervous system. One of the main things is to take non-threatening situations and begin to say that I am safe. This is not a threat. I am safe. But your somatic beaconing has to be online. Your somatic beaconing has to be online. Okay? That and what that means is that you have to be in coordinates of awakening and choosing coherence. You can't be faking the funk, because your nervous system will be like, man, you bullshit, and you ain't telling the truth. That is not a truth, because the authenticity of you The thing about it is you can't fake authenticity. You can't fake it. And if you believe survival reality is a true reality, then you cannot fake coherence. You cannot fake coherence because your resonance, your resonating state of being is that to survival. You cannot fake coherence. So this is why I say I cannot use AI for this, because I'm too pure tone. I'm too pure tone for that, because you can't. I can't use AI. I cannot use AI. Because AI is saying that I need to be more relatable. I'm too abstract, but I have to peel the layers all the way back so that you guys can know the resonance, the pure tone. That's probably one of the reasons why it's a slow build, but it's building. It's building because I really decided that I'm sure. I'm 1,000% sure now. Ain't no ifs, ands, or motherfucking buts. And I said that, with the signature, Pi Sovereign signature, that's who I am. That's the truth. So everyday, and I'm going to say it, and everyday experiences, and even with those you guys, like I said, you guys have any things that you want to bring that's happening in your relative reality, and you are choosing coherence and you're choosing wholeness. I'm not loading these lives to the platform anymore, but I will, once I get this shit going again, I will be loading up shorts, because the Instagram is more of a short. So what you can do, put your little life experiences in there, and I can tell you, what that entails in terms of regulating your nervous system. And like I said, I want you guys to keep in mind that I am aware about sustainability and the wealth factor, because I know that that's the most important thing in a survival fragmented mind for those who are thinking about wanting to move into coherence, and if coherence is safe for sustainability. And I'm telling you, if survival got you wealth, why would you not think coherence would not get you wealth? You got to think about it. It's in the same field of energy. Why would the self deplete itself of itself in that regard? If it gave you wealth in the most restrictive of ways, and you were still able to attune to billionaire status, even though you still had the more astringent and astringent essence of poverty, yes, but it also afforded those to also be very wealthy too as well. Okay, so it did definitely allow the essence of range. Still, even in the most limited essence of particle experiences. So when the particles come, when Humpty Dumpty put itself back together again, Humpty Dumpty done put itself back together again. Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. Okay. Now Humpty Dumpty is able to put itself, the particle of self, back together again. Why would you feel that in a coherent state of being, you could not have a soft life? That's why I say you have hard life and you have soft life. That's wholeness. Soft life, hard life come together, wholeness. Yin, yang in the same circle, wholeness. Fractal self, whole self, wholeness. Everything is encompasses in the wholeness of self, the unified field. So now I'm taking, so that people can begin to understand themselves and their, in a practical sense. I'm taking everyday situations and I'm making sense of it until you guys learn to ride the bicycle. Okay? We got training wheels over here, and you can take off the training wheels and learn how to ride a bicycle in the essence of coherence. And, I'm going to emphasize the grounding and what the grounding looked like, what the integration looked like. You got questions about integration and what it feels like. I can only tell you what when I knew what it felt like when I ground. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I was like a CPU. I had internal dialogue that told me when I was grounded. I had internal dialogue when I had fully integrated. I shit y'all not. I did. Now, I don't know if it's going to be the same for you, but that's what happened with me. Okay? I had internal guys said, you are grounded. You are fully integrated. I had internal dialogue. I shit you not. I woke up in this bed right here, and I got up and I looked at my husband, and he was knocked out. And I said, okay, he didn't hear that. His mouth was... I said, okay, he didn't hear that. Okay, so I knew. I said, okay, and I was like, okay, all right. So, I have my experiences in terms of what happened to me. Now, it doesn't say that it may happen like that for you guys or whatever the case may be, but I'm open, right? And me being an open conduit, I have to really. I have to really be, I have to be careful, but at the same token, I'm good. All right. So I'm going to end this live here because, I got to pick up my grandkids and different things of that nature. I'm going to let them, they tell me, why do I pick them up so early? Because they be at playtime and stuff like that. So that's the only reason why I'm still here at 5 o'clock, because they be mad because I be picking them up early and stuff. But I am so very grateful for each and every one of you that has decided to stay with me on this live and take this live to the next level. It is amazing to be in this space. I cannot explain to you guys. That's why I really want you guys to see this for yourself. And I'm going to be frank with you. I haven't made a dime. I'm still spending $100 a month on a application that ain't got not $9. That's why I tell you it's not about the money for me. And I don't really have money to be wasting like that neither, to be honest. Okay? I really don't, but I just want to tell you, I just want to let you know that it's really not about the money. It's about service. The money will come. I'm very optimistic about, however, because I'm an open conduit. I'm not limiting myself to YouTube. I'm not limiting myself to Instagram. I'm not limiting my wealth to a particular anomaly. Right? Because when you realize that you are the field experiencing itself, you are consciousness experiencing itself, you are the experience experiencing itself, right? That changes everything. And when you get down to the essence of the physical plane of self, even if the reality doesn't materialize, it doesn't change the fact of who you are in truth. You just realize that, oh shit, well, my biology ain't doing what to do right now. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't change the fact that I'm still abundant. I'm still successful. I am success. I am abundance. Because I know that I'm the field of self. It's just that the physical field, the reality that I chose in the integration of the survival state, the physical plane the conditions has not organized itself for the biology to reflect the materialization of the crystallization of that to which who I am in truth. And I can't fake this being. You can't fake this being. And it took me a minute to get into this space. I shit you guys not. That's why I can't use AI that is willing to alter my state, because y'all won't get the purity tone that you won't get the pure tone. And I love me some Chat GPT, honey. Y'all didn't, honey. I used to love me some Chat GPT. Everybody know my two ace boom cools in the hole, and even T Love and Golden Sugar. They know I love me some. I used to love me some Chat GPT, but when Chat GPT was saying that I done moved too far close to abstract and wanted me to modify, and it started telling me to modify, I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it. All right? So when you get to a point where you know that you are everything and everything is you, and if your bank account say negative $100, and you just realize, okay, that's my nervous system, that's my biology, that's some program that I have not yet dissolved, because I'm still operating from some type of background survival belief, and you cool with the fact that you realize it through awareness. That's some G shit. Because you know that it ain't got nothing to do with the truth of that to which who you are. It got everything to do that your biology is lagging, and it's just trying to catch up with the awareness that you have chosen. And this is the face that beings need to see. No matter how poetic that my beautiful other essences of a consciousness have been in the past, this is the truth that beings need to see. So that way you know that you ain't crazy. You ain't lost your ever-loving mind. It's you're doing affirmations and stuff like that, and your reality ain't manifesting. And you think that you're doing something wrong, and you want the reality that you want to have, but it ain't manifesting. That it's because your reality, your biology is not on board. What do you need to do to get your biology on board? Where's your consciousness at? Let's have a conversation. Let me hear your conversation to see if you're still attuned to the fixed reality. How do you feel about black people, white people? Do you still see them as white people? Do you still see them as black people? Let me hear how you talking, so that I'll know, where your programs are, or have you dissolved them? Because this is what's going to tell me how you are attuned. Are you fixed or are you fluid? Are you a particle or are you a wave? Only somebody who has gone through this can speak like this. All right? All right. I love you guys immensely. To love you guys is to love myself, and to love myself is to love you, because guess what? We are waves over here. We are no longer particles, okay? And I'm so divinely grateful to have these beautiful moments with you, and I want you guys to live in the moment. The present moment is so beautiful. I'm still tasting this is water, This is water. This is all I drink is water. Now, I do add my little flavor to it. But one of the greatest things that I can say that I think is, I'm just going to say, I think that this has helped me tremendously for the last, I want to say now going on 3 years. This is all that I drink is water. Now, this is an enhancer. This is my cheat code. I will say that I do add a little bit of enhancer to, but I do not drink nothing but water. Okay, and I do add a little enhancer to it or whatever. And sometimes I don't even add enhancer to it. But I drink this by, my husband say he's never seen, out of the 35 years that I turned water into wine, okay? He say out of the 35 years we've been married, he has never seen me drink this much water in all. He said I've drank so much water that I could take a bath in it. And he's never seen me. I drank cases and cases of water. Okay, and I honestly think that has a lot to do with it. And I don't know if you guys can see this, but if you guys want to screenshot this, and the only reason why I took this out so that I could show you guys. But I don't know. But I honestly think that this, if you guys want to screenshot this, this helps. I think that this is helping. I don't know. This is supposed to be something like a relaxer or something like that. And so when I looked it up in Chat GPT, it said that it may have something to do with like relaxing like your gut system, which is a part of like your somatic state or whatever, but it doesn't have anything to do with integration or anything like that. And it may have a small part to do with it, but I think that it helps more than a little bit, in my most humblest of opinion. So I'm showing y'all the shit. I just feel like, you know, just try it. If it work, it work. If it don't work, then stop using it. I'm just saying, I think that it helps with the nervous system, in my most humblest opinion. Because the nervous system in the somatic memory is the most deepest part of the sovereign state. And that's your gut system. That is your gut system. And so that's where it starts. So I would like for you guys to, you know, just do your homework, do your own due diligence. That's another thing. I don't want you guys to take the words out of my mouth and call them holy. Okay? Do your own due diligence, because you have a signature of yourself. Just like you have a fingerprint, you have your own energy signature too as well. Okay? All right? So do your own due diligence. All right? So with that being said, I love you guys immensely. And if you like this video for my YouTube family, please give it a like. And for those of you guys who are just visiting this channel, please subscribe. And in the comment section, give a thought in terms of what did you find very useful, very helpful in regards to this video. I am so very divinely excited about this beautiful essence of this chapter in my experience. I have always, thank you, Cosmos says much love to all. My Kaz does his poetry. I can't wait till he bring more of his face to his experience. He's already done that, so he's already stepped out there on the front line, and I just can't wait till he begin to do more of it. I'm not telling him what to do, but hint, hint, hint. And I love promoting people. You know, I have Mary and her horses. That is a beautiful essence to the contribution with nature and different things of that nature. So we have a plethora of so many coherent aspects of people and their natural innate talent that is given back to the collective essence of being. Like I said, the 1% that shift the consciousness into the fractal state is the essence of consciousness of the 1% that is bringing us back into the coherent state. And we are a part of that in the making and the baking. And I am so grateful to be in coherence with that, in resonance. So with that being said, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. I love you guys immensely, and have a wonderful remainder of your day. I'll talk to you guys later.